Hey, what's up, Austin, Texas? You are checking out DaveTV. We are at Vans Warped Tour, 21st year of Vans Warped Tour, and San Antonio in the heat. Tatiana's here. Maybe you can introduce yourself better than my Texan accent.
Your Texan accent is glorious. My name is Tatiana Di Maria, and I play in a band called TAT from England.
I've heard your stuff online and thought it was pretty cool. They ask, they send you all these. You want to interview this band and that band, and this is why I do Warp, to get turned on to new music. So thank you for doing that. TAT is a lot easier for me.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Your accent is almost Texan. You're not from here.
No, no, my accent is drastically different. But I love it. I do. The Texan accent is wonderful. Our merch guy is so over the moon. He's ridiculous. He's running around asking girls to say, "There's a snake in my boots," which just cracks me up.
It's great to do that.
But
right.
you guys have a wonderful accent, and actually our driver is Texan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have a driver. Most folks I've been talking to are like packing up with the band, and that's it. But three people, is it?
3 people in the band. We fought long and hard to have a driver, which is a wonderful, wonderful luxury.
Your AC work?
Our AC works. Doesn't always work, but...
First one of the day, people.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, how long have you been on the Warped Tour?
Since it started.
Wow, Pomona.
Yeah, Pomona. And but we're actually not on for very long this year because we have to go back and finish our album.
Awesome.
Which fans have been patient enough for. So we thought we can either play a few more dates or go back and focus. So we're going to do that.
Did it pop up like that? Like you wanted to do this album and then you had this opportunity and kind of put it on the back burner? What was going on?
Yeah, I mean, I want to get the album out as soon as possible, but it's a bit different, and it was a process to get it right. It's not something I wanted to rush, and I've always just wanted to give our fans the best I could give.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's sucky because it takes a bit longer, and I burnt out after the first album. I wrote it when I was in high school, and then we played 1,000 shows on the same album, which was intense. So now it's nice to have grown a bit and be making something newer and fresher. And then I spoke to Kevin about doing Warped Tour, and I wanted to put something out for the fans. I didn't want to make people wait too long, so we actually put a track out called Anxiety, which is out now at every Vans Warped Tour date. You can pick up a drop card, or it'll be available online on July the 15th. iTunes, MySpace, Your Face, Face, all that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Will this be included on the new recording?
I just said MySpace.
Hey, MySpace is still people doing it. It was, tried to be revived. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but... So this track will be on the new record when you finish?
It actually won't. Something I wanted to do was just... we have a lot of tracks, and because I took a bit of a break, there are a lot of tracks that hadn't been released. So what I wanted to do was give the fans new music that was sort of between the old album and the new album, and almost bridge the gap by releasing a few tracks this year, which are essentially just tracks for people to have, just free tracks. They don't belong to an album. It's just, I want to give you music. You've waited long enough, and our fans have been wonderfully supportive.
That's so special, really,
Well, they've been great to us, and in the end of the day, when you go through it a few times, I think your perspective changes a little bit. And you really have to let go of perfectionism and packaging everything and making it that experience. Sometimes you just need to connect with your fans. And when I was just a kid, I would listen to like a year ago, and I would listen to my favorite bands. I remember some of them would take 3 years to drop an album, and I was like, that's not fair. And we kind of did the same thing, and I feel like an asshole for it. So mainly it's the fan in me that's like, have some songs this year. We'll come and tour. We'll play 2 weeks at a time whenever we can get a window to do it. But have some songs, and then next year will be an onslaught with a lot more music. So the idea is just give people music.
And the days of a full-length album are kind of, not as important anymore.
No, they're not. Anymore. Fuck off. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's exactly. It kind of pisses me off. I grew up, I'd buy the album, the gatefold sleeve, the whole thing, and it was a real experience. And, it was part of the product. Now, I mean, it's great that people want music as much as they do, because I don't think the desire for getting music has changed, but the machine for it, it's not like you go out and rush out to pick something off the shelf anymore. People are always online,
Well, I think it's a double-edged sword in a way, or maybe not even that aggressive. It's just a two-sided coin in the sense that music is more accessible, so we notice patterns. Now everybody's talking about how they buy music, but I think what hasn't changed is the fact that people always want to relate to someone. And look at Kendrick Lamar, for example. Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole are perfect examples of individuals, of characters. Even Kanye West, say what you want about him. And I'm saying hip-hop because I think that right now hip-hop's managed to do that in a way that a lot of other genres haven't. They've had the freedom to say, fuck a chorus. This is about the identity. This is about the struggle. This is about the joys. This is about you connecting to me. It's not about getting it on radio or selling. Yes, there are sales, but that's not the driving force behind it. The driving force behind it is expression. But what's happened, and you say the machine, is labels aren't developing talent anymore. So what you have is labels pushing for radio tracks because they're not selling tracks. So the online experience isn't perfect. Music isn't selling. Labels find other ways to make money. They know that a track just needs to sell quickly, so make some very simple track that's gonna sell. And I write for other people, I produce for other people, see it daily, and you know, you end up in a situation where people want something that's gonna sell, they don't care about the lyrics, and that's something that a lot of people can't attach themselves to. So in a way, I would say pop music has changed, and you still have the great pop music. Adele was a phenomenal pop album, but look at that, you put some identity behind something, people will buy the album. So I think the reason people are not necessarily buying the albums is because a lot of the music that's given the push is there for a commercial reason that's trying to keep a machine alive, and a lot of artists are given a very short window to make it. So they've themselves have started writing differently just to survive. And what you get is a little sad. You have people going, oh, there's so much bullshit on the radio. And I go, well, there's also a lot of cool shit. But at the same time, the bullshit is because no one really wants to pay for anything. The labels don't really know how to go about it. And it's not pointing the finger directly. It's just, it's not working perfectly. So the people who are making albums are independent. And a lot of the time, as an independent artist, it can be really hard to get it right. So anyway, I could battle for days.
Great points, because I mean, as an artist that is independent, it's even strikingly more important that you make a coin to put this out to people while keeping your integrity of why you started it. You wrote your first songs in high school, you said? And here you are now where you're at, trying to do another record, but probably a little more focus on getting it out than the comfort of having those songs ready to go, I would imagine.
Well, you know, for a minute there was that, and it fucked with my writing and it fucked with my head. So I took a break, and that's why it's taken me a minute, because I just thought it's got to come from me, and I had to get myself to a place where I didn't give a fuck about releasing it for any touring, any commercial reason. It was simply, this is stuff I need to say, this is how I like to say it, and it's between me and the listener. And if you like it, and if you take something from it, great. And if you don't, maybe someone else will do that for you, and maybe someone else will feel it. And it reminds me of why I started to write. When I was 14, I just had this beautifully pure moment where I was like, wow, I love what this band has done for me, or this music has done for me, and it was so purely, I want to be able to give people what music gave me. And I think I wrote my best stuff coming from that perspective, because you don't give a shit if it's, I don't know, if it fits on radio or it doesn't fit on radio, and that's generally when the best stuff is written, because it's a natural flow, it just happens. It's like, oh, it's like anyone can relate. If you came out with a witty line or a funny joke that just happened in conversation, you're like, yeah, that was funny as shit. Right. I feel good about that. And that's what a song's like. You can sit there and go, let me work out a really funny joke that's gonna make them laugh and them. Or you can just be in a spur of the moment, have it come out and be like, oh, that's fucking funny.
I love it.
And that's what writing's like. So.
And it's passion for me. Like I always say to folks, I need to see it live. I'm not a big listener of CDs and stuff online. I've really crossed into where I just love to go see bands live.
Come see us live, and 3:15 in an hour,
that's
baby.
the ticket, exactly. And so seeing and hearing your music online when, you know, they said these bands are available, and that's again why I'm coming to Warp, turned myself on to new music. And you guys stood out big time.
Thank you very much.
It's TAT. So if you haven't checked it out, TAT is online. Just find it and turn it up, you know, enjoy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this with me. I know you got a busy schedule, and
no, I appreciate it. It's such a pleasure to meet you, Dave.
Absolutely.
And for anyone out there, I just want to say thank you to the fans who've been patient. Thank you to the fans getting over a flu. Thank you for coming out to the shows. You can hit us up at tatofficial.com, tatofficial on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that jazz, but come say hi. And yeah, you can pick up our single Anxiety online on July the 15th onwards, so do it and hit us up.